today, Hollywood Sex, How Sex Sells, because Mark Ebner has written a book called 6 Degrees of Paris Hilton, where he chronicles the escapades of a young Hollywood thug who allegedly was involved in the creation of Paris Hilton sex tapes, the distribution of them, and now rumors abound that she had an involvement, as do other Hollywood starlets, with the creation and distribution of their own sex tapes, even though they are posited to the media as the victims. So ladies, we thought it would be one night in Paris, but it's lasted much longer than we thought it would. What do you think about Paris and her sex tapes and the potential involvement that she had in letting them leak?
Well, I guess the question to ask is, was Paris a victim? Is she the, oh, woe is me, girl that she kind of framed herself to be? Or was she manipulating this whole thing from the back and knowing that it would launch her to the forefront and really essentially launching her career? What do you think?
Oh, Paris. Famous for being famous. She has launched a multi-million-dollar career doing what? Being famous, and now she does music videos, she makes porn movies. Yeah.
I think she owes us a sex tape, because what else does she contribute to the world? I mean, at least she's doing something. There are a few things to consider here. Number one, no press is bad press, and so you have to consider every time a celebrity has a public debacle, things are being spun, so you always have to wonder whether it was an accident, like Nipplegate. Was that an accident? A perfectly choreographed accident? Her nipple was decorated. I mean, if it wasn't going to come off, why was the hardware there? So the other thing we have to consider is that now, in light of this book, Paris, the victim, a light is shed on her that is not very favorable. For example, Darnell Riley, the subject of this book, the young Hollywood thug, he gives accounts of her, filming herself at her own grandmother's funeral. So Paris Hilton is no longer the, oh, that's hot, like I'm an innocent observer who happens to film my sex tapes with my boyfriend and then they get leaked. It's not a pretty light.
Well, I think she is, shown to be in love with herself time and again. I don't think that anyone has ever thought that she's going to become the Mother Teresa of tomorrow. Everyone knows that she's very superficial and she's made a career out of it, and we eat it up. So I think, but underneath all of this, that Paris Hilton is a victim. Not in the way that we think she's a victim, in the sense that I think she is aware of what she's doing, but she has bought into our culture of celebrating the sex, the sexuality of young women.
Well, prostitution is the oldest profession in the world.
And the porn industry is the biggest moneymaker. That and drug dealing. I mean, young girls, hey, you want to grow up and make a lot of cash.
And so that is a debate as to whether it is a valid profession. I mean, girls have been doing it since the dawn of time. It is a service that they can provide. Pink is a very interesting artist who speaks out against this kind of talent coming into the forefront and then being persuaded to use sex to really expand their audience. But if a talented person like Christina Aguilera and all those little Disney girls have to use sex to sell themselves and their product, imagine Paris and Kim Kardashian, these celebutantes who don't have any specific talent. Maybe they need the sex tapes.
On the flip side, though, I wonder, when you look at anybody's career from the time that they're 16, let's say right now, Miley Cyrus, first year or two, they're known for their craft, either their artistry, their music, their voice. But eventually, I wonder if they are bringing it on themselves, and maybe it's still a product of society, but it's like they turn 18, they turn 19, they turn 20, and they want to explore their sexuality, and they want to be this wild young partier because maybe they've had such a tight rein on them. And I think that being in the public eye, it's like, well, everyone is going to have something negative that has happened in their life, or someone's, maybe you've danced on a table one night, and for them, they can't do that freely.
But living in the public eye is a very specific thing. There are celebrities. I've interviewed a lot of celebrities. One, for example, is Seth Green. So I was interviewing him and Mila Kunis. And I said, you guys are never in the tabloids, but you're young and attractive and you party, so what happens? And they said straight up, he said, I'm, you know, a paparazzi ninja. You can decide to be in the eyes of the paparazzi or to not be. You know where to go to be seen, and you know where to not go. Britney is a great example, the documentary that they just released on MTV. They know when the paparazzi is going to be there. Adnan, linking back to what we were saying, her paparazzi ex-boyfriend supposedly has a sex tape of her. Now, unless she thought this was the love of her life, which perhaps she did, does she really want to make a sex tape with Adnan, the paparazzi, who she will potentially break up with, and then this thing will be floating in the world for all to see?
No, and that's why I don't necessarily think that these people are victims. The only thing they're a victim of is our society and maybe them having the skewed idea that they think for popularity they have to do these things. But I think that celebrities know exactly what they're doing and they bring it on themselves. I mean, I'm sure there's moments of relapse where they go through a couple-week phase of what did I do? But during it, I think they did seek out that paparazzi attention.
Going back to these sex tape starlets, not many of them are Academy Award nominated actresses. We're looking at people who their publicist or in their own minds have to keep putting out stuff to be in the media. So that's when you have to wonder, well, is it all part of the orchestrated PR plan to release these sex tapes?
Well, and it's unfortunate, and maybe it's that they don't really have a talent, but they want to be famous. Nowadays, young girls want to be famous, and there are ways of getting famous. The Natalie Dillon case selling her virginity.
Yeah, here's a 22-year-old, you know, she just graduated from university. You would think she has her whole life ahead of her, and she's been launched to almost a celebrity. She was on the Tyra Banks show talking about the fact that she has put her virginity up for auction online. And there's already been bids between $1 and $3.8 million, and there's been over 5,000 bids for her virginity.
Including supposedly a rock star, a famous actor.
She says actually that there is an educational part of this, that she's doing a thesis on linking prostitution and virginity. She's trying to research the history of it and see how it's exercised in modern day times.
How old is this girl?
She's 22 years old.
Sounds like a case of celebrity spin masters. Every time a celebrity has a little spill, there's a spin. So, you know what, Paris, we'd love to have you here if ever you want to discuss this with us. And from you guys, let us know, do you think these celebrities have a hand in their own sex tapes? Have you ever made your own sex tapes? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and we'll talk to you next time.